This month in SSW Tech news, OpenAI is back on top as the frontier model. Or is it? US and Chinese AI firms are now moving in different directions, and your favorite Disney characters are now licensed to appear on Sora content. All that and more. I'm Cogan, let's get into it. ChatGPT 5.2 signals a shift from AI as an assistant to AI as an operator. Now, OpenAI was in a bit of a cold sweat after Gemini 3 came out and really gave them a run for their money. But it looks like their code red has paid off with this brand new model, which is impressing a lot of industry experts. This is optimized as a professional worker. So what does this mean? Professional knowledge work is kind of like white-collar jobs. It's getting better at things like creating spreadsheets, building presentations, writing code, perceiving images. And the stats are really impressive. If we look at its GDP val, wins or ties, we're seeing stark increases from 5.1. We're also seeing areas where it's not necessarily the most specific optimized model, it's getting these really good stats. So a lot of coders, we love Claude when it comes to using something that's specifically designed for coding. But these SWE Benchmark Pro, that's a really great stat. It's actually giving Claude a run for its money there. The bench verified, all this stuff is coming in really strong. Let's just have a look through here so we can see the GDP val knowledge worker task. This is particular, that white collar job that we were talking about. This particular pro model is really showing some exceptional results here. Great work in terms of spreadsheets, project management. Very interesting simulation here to kind of show coding capacity. Very visual. I loved this. Some creative tasks. Now, a lot of these benchmarks you can see on the OpenAI site are very much trust me bro. One of the more respected ones is this ARC prize. And what this is it's basically about AI's ability to generalize. Less about being an autocomplete on steroids and more about its ability to reason like a human, make assumptions and apply that new knowledge. On these particular benchmarks, it's scoring incredibly well. So if we take it back a year ago, we can see that this post is highlighting OpenAI's O3 High scored 88%, and it was 4.5K per task. Now, not only has it gotten better with 5.2 scoring 90.5%, it has now decreased so dramatically to $11.64 a task. Now, that's an increase in efficiency of 390 times. That is just incredible that we're getting so much more value and efficiency from our AI models. And visually, you can see that down here a year ago, up here right now. Absolutely incredible stuff coming out of OpenAI. Now, of course, with any AI model, it's not all fanfare. Some people have described this new upgrade as boring or too corporate, and that's probably because it's trained less as a chatbot and more as a professional knowledge worker. But let us know your thoughts because the verdicts are still coming in, still early days. I will say, as the battle for the frontier model constantly continues, Anthropic might be pushing the next frontier. The battle between OpenAI and Anthropic in this latest release is really showing the effects of AI model fragmentation. Here's the really interesting thing about fragmentation. Anthropic's new model doesn't comprehensively beat OpenAI's 5.2 in the same way that OpenAI's 5.2 doesn't comprehensively beat Anthropic's. They're both kind of wearing each other down in different benchmarks. We can see that benchmarks in abstract reasoning, ChatGPT 5.2 is on top, while competitors like Claude, Opus 4.5 match or beat it in practical coding tasks and efficiency. Instead of one uncontested leader, we're seeing different models carving out niches. And this means it's kind of getting harder to decide which model to use. Should we be using OpenAI, Claude Opus, Gemini, Gemini DeepThink? It's just getting increasingly difficult for different coding teams to pick which one is the best one, depending on workload, cost, latency, risk. But thankfully, some big AI players are trying to bring a bit of order to this chaos. OpenAI and Anthropic have come together to launch a Gentic AI Foundation. This is for AI models to act and think, not just the text generation style bots. Importantly, the Linux Foundation is acting as the governance and coordination layer here, not just a commercial owner. Now, the founding members are all donating real technical assets, not just their logos. So, Anthropic is donating Model Context Protocol, or MCP, a standard for how models receive and manage content. OpenAI is donating agents.md, a specification for how agents behave and interact. And Block is donating Goose, an open source agent framework. Overall, the industry sentiment is that we should be improving interoperability and safety. It is encouraging to see the Western AI leaders coming together and creating some order in this chaos. But globally, the picture is very different. We're seeing a gap grow between Western ways of doing AI and Eastern ways of doing AI, or more specifically, how the US does AI and how China does it. The US-China AI split is pushing China towards open source models, while the West continues to be a little bit more secretive and competitive. Nvidia has unveiled a new family of open source artificial intelligence models it says will be faster, cheaper, and smarter. Now, this comes as China is unveiling all of these open source models. So, Nvidia is responding to growing competition from Chinese tech firms such as DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and Alibaba Group. These models are becoming widely used across the tech industry, with companies like Airbnb disclosing they're using Alibaba's Gwen open source model. This is what a split in the AI system looks like. Different assumptions, different incentives, and different paths to scale. Now, I'm generally a believer in open source and collaboration, but I'm curious where you guys land. Which ecosystem do you think will thrive? The US or the Chinese? Let's get a little bit more technical. VS Code opens private marketplace for extensions. This isn't just a new tool, it is a shift in how developers' tools are governed. Until now, VS Code extensions have largely lived in a single public marketplace. That works for individuals, but increasingly it's risky for organizations, where extensions can access source code, inject AI tools, and handle credentials or proprietary data. Microsoft's private marketplace gives organizations a way to curate and approve and distribute extensions internally. So this is without forcing developers to abandon the VS Code experience they kind of already rely on. Teams can approve or block extensions they don't agree with. They can have internal or custom extensions that they can distribute privately, and the updates can be managed centrally. It's a clear move towards integrating security into the everyday developer workflow. Now, speaking of workflows, Visual Studio 2026 goes GA with AI workflows. That means AI is no longer an option, it is the default, which is pretty cool. And just to pull out some key new features, we can see that it's fixed thousands of bugs, performance overhauls, no migration headaches. This is cool. So Visual Studio 2026 is fully compatible with your projects and extensions from 2022. So you can open your existing solutions and start coding immediately. No migration, no steps, no surprises. We've got some IDE updates, decoupled from compilers, a bit of polish in there. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, please feel free to check out this link in full over here at the news stack. Now let's finish with a bit of fun. Disney has licensed their iconic characters to OpenAI in a $1 billion deal. Or, as The Verge puts it, Disney characters are coming to Sora and AI slop will be on Disney+. So it is a reciprocal deal. What this means is that OpenAI's Sora video generation will be used to create user-prompted social videos featuring more than 200 characters from Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars. Now let's have a look at some of these more iconic characters. Here we can see a Star Wars, we've got Lilo and Stitch, we got Cars movie, some of your favorite characters. They're coming through. You can generate with them. Cinderella, Baymax, Simba, Mufasa, Black Panther, all available for you to prompt on Sora and in the reciprocal direction from Disney to generate with this content as well. So think your own photos, your own characters, fan-generated content at a massive scale. There has been some debate about if people should be excited to play with their favorite characters or if this is a bad sign for the future of creative industries. I will say, as we're seeing these rapid progressions in the Sora space, we're also seeing OpenAI able to prompt and use Adobe generation tools like Photoshop. So some strong movement in the visual generation AI space. And that's all in SSW Tech news this month. If you are looking for more regular updates, we have just started focusing a bit more on the SSW Tech News Shorts. So you can find them over here on our different social platforms, including Shorts, and you can get these mid-week hits. Stick around because up next we have this month's SSW User Group, a Gentic RAG retrieval with Microsoft Foundry IQ, more speed and accuracy for your RAG searches, with Priyanka Shah. Over to you, Priyanka.